Hello and welcome to the Holy Hour. It's the All Cure podcast. I'm Gavin and I'm joined by my one and only boy.
Hello.
It's Henson. Yes, is a very special guest for a very special episode as we start to wrap up the Shows of a Lost World tour coverage.
Yeah.
We came to the end of the line, man. The last show in Miami, and there's no better way to talk about it. First-hand accounts. Me and Henson, you were at the show.
I know.
Everyone's been dying to know what you thought of this show. And I gotta tell you, you've like immediately after the show, we went down to the Florida Keys for a family vacation for about a week. And we kept thinking we're gonna record on one of those boring sunny days. We'll just be all chilling after a long day at the beach. It'll be perfect. But Henson over here is much like Russell Hammond in the Almost Famous films, apparently, where he's just like, how about tomorrow, man? One more day. I'm just absorbing it all so much still. And I was like, cool. But here we are. We finally made it happen. We're back home now. It was hot down there in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
Well,
Not
it was
just
like
the
80
music.
degrees, but the humidity made it feel like 100 degrees.
120 degrees.
I know, gosh.
It was so hot. Not only just in Miami, but especially the further we got. It was a little more less breezy down there in the Keys. And there's a reason why we've been to the Keys a bunch of times, but never in July either, or full on summer. We always go early spring or in the fall. Good time to go. But the water's always cold.
Yeah, so you can't swim.
But this time...
Yeah, we went snorkeling, and there's a lot of cool fish.
Cool, yeah.
The water was really still.
It was beautiful. We had a good time. It was a perfect way. We were talking about how to wrap up, talking. It's hard to follow the cure, though, right? We did that right off the bat. We didn't want to tell Mom, but, like, the best part of the trip, was the first day.
Yeah.
But it was still amazing, of course, and we had a good time to fully recover and absorb all this. We always, as this tour's been going, you've been hearing all the different kind of first-hand accounts where is it better to talk about the show like on the drive home when you're all wound up and like, oh man, that was so cool, or is it better to let it absorb for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, that part was cool? So it's hard to say. I don't know what the answer is either, but here we are. We definitely absorbed it. So we're going to walk you through. This is how we've been doing the whole tour, Henson. I know you haven't listened to every episode, but we've been just here and having people tell us exactly every little detail you can remember from leading up to before the show, during the show, and the reactions after. So I'll walk you through it and hope you guys enjoy this firsthand account as well. So we flew into Fort Lauderdale, got a car, drove on down. We'll skip all the traffic and lunches we had and all that. While it was great, you guys don't really care that much. So heading into the day of the show, I did have a couple rules because I was worried about you staying up late, right? You're a party kid, but you're not too big on staying up past like midnight and stuff, right? You're very, very good about your bedtime, so, like your mother, not like me. But so I had a couple worries. I was like, I know it's gonna start getting late. I know you wouldn't be like standing down in the trenches or anything of the show. We'd have seats and stuff, but at the same time, I didn't want you to be like, hey, we finally made it to a Cure show. I'm exhausted. So I had the rule of we shouldn't go to the beach the day of the show because everyone knows the beach can kick your butt, right? With the sunshine and the waves.
But we went to the pool instead.
Yes. So there was a pool at the hotel. We stayed at the Moxie. Pretty cool hotel, right?
Yeah. It's sort of for free.
Yeah. My wife had some points, so we used some points to stay there. So nothing's technically free, or nothing's officially free, but it was technically free, I guess. Still had to pay more than what we paid with Antonio and Chaz just for the parking, I think. But they had a nice pool. We hung out in the pool, then we had a nice lunch, and then we went to a cool art exhibit actually during the day. It was what was it called? The Art Tech House. So Art Tech House, I think is how you would break it down.
Yeah.
But basically, it was like a cool, like just visual thing. You walked into these different rooms.
It was like these screens, and it was like really hypnotizing.
Yeah, it was all kinds of trippy stuff going on, swirling lights, a lot of It's a little like just like you're watching a screensaver or something, but it
Yeah.
was like a whole room filled with it. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it was a little like, because it was just designed to take like selfies in and stuff. But none of
Yeah.
the pictures would really come out that well anyway. But it was really cool. And it was not over the top. So it was a cool, fun thing to do. It was air conditioned in there. So that felt nice.
Yeah.
So we kind of kicked it off by doing that. And then we were like, well, we should hit up the meetup. And
Yeah.
I was all like, well, I'm not really sure how we're going to get there, get enough time. I didn't want to drag you guys to a total Cure Nerd Fest, but you and Mom were surprisingly up for it. So we went on over to the Lost Boy Dry Goods. It was a little tricky to find on the GPS because the road was under construction. But we found it, and it was really cool. And again, it was set up by Leanie and Angel, but this time with help from Carly and Millie, who I would meet later on, and both were super awesome. So that was kind of cool. From your perspective, Henson, I do believe you were the only kid in the bar. Was it weird, or were you cool with that?
It was the only weird thing is that I'm really not used to seeing so many people wearing Cure shirts.
Yeah, you said that.
around and-
Isn't that cool? Like the whole.
Yeah.
Because, usually you just see your scattered one weird Cure shirt out in the wild, and you're like, hey, he's one of us. But this is a whole room
The
full
whole
of,
gang.
full of Cure shirts, different cool Cure shirts. Did you see any that you were like, that's the coolest Cure shirt I've ever seen?
Mainly all different ones. There was some of those old Wish shirts, the blue ones were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like those.
Yeah, you said you saw the original tie-dye one, like
Yeah.
that Chaz had recreated, so it was kind of cool to see the originals for sure. Yeah, so that was cool. It was a pretty good crowd right off the bat. Cool bar too, and it had food and stuff, so I didn't feel too bad. And it was an event, and they never said like 21 or older or anything. So normally I'm not the one to drag a kid to a bar or anything, but usually we have our breweries here in Nashville are good for that.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Take you bar hopping with me all the time. But hopefully it didn't feel too awkward. But we kind of just got our drinks in our corner. We're hanging out. But gradually I started to run into people, and just to give a quick shout outs to a few. It was great to run into JC. Was a guy that had been streaming and brought it all full circle because he had done a bunch of the live streams early on that I was watching out on the West Coast and stuff. And I was like, this JC dude's amazing. And our friend Andy was like, yeah, he's a Cure legend. You have to meet JC. And so I talked to him a little bit through messages and recognized him and said, hey. And later would have a really awesome conversation with him. So it's a totally sweet dude and very cool to finally talk to him in person. I met Allison and Shannon while waiting in the line for the drinks. So it was a little bit backed up. They had a full staff, but I guess the Cure fans hit the bar pretty hard. So it was a little long waiting for drinks there. Then eventually near the end, I met Sebastian too. That was a cool one. He was wearing... Scott, our friend out in California, he had redesigned the Hollywood poster, right? Because he thought the poster was terrible. And he redesigned one, and I saw a dude wearing the Hollywood shirt that Scott had redesigned. So I had to say hey to him. And he was super sweet and had cool friends. And and I guess the funny part was I tried to get a picture of him to show Scott, know, and I totally locked in, got the good picture. It looked clear on my phone, and then I
Looked
realized
at it, it was blurry.
it was blurry. So I
So
was
then,
like, damn.
when Dad was talking to someone, me and Mom decided to get another picture, and I was right behind Mom, and I saw her take it perfectly, but it still turned out blurry.
Still blurry. So
Somehow.
So we thought in the end that's kind of cooler because it's more Cure-like. Looked like the 17 Seconds album cover or something. But or we did have the fear that maybe Sebastian was a vampire, and that's just how it's gonna be. But if you're at a Cure show,
Luckily he was
that's
a cool
kind of cool.
vampire.
Yeah, he seemed cool. That's amazing. So if you're hearing this, Sebastian, whether you're a vampire or not, you're cool with us, right?
Yeah.
So with Sebastian, we also met Carly from Durham, who I believe was the same Carly that helped set all this up. And thank you, because she was super cool and had a lovely conversation with Carly. And then Millie eventually was at a group at table near the end there. We ran into Millie from New Orleans, who was really awesome too, and told us a quick story of how she met Robert Smith at the New Orleans Jazz Fest. Totally unrelated. It's a really good story. I won't even try to do it justice, but she just totally saw him random at the Jazz Fest, and how crazy that would be. So she had me cracking up with that story. It was really cool. And Victor, our good buddy who we've been palling around with on the East Coast, showed up, and it was great to see Victor at the final show there too. And hopefully he traveled back and got back home safe after his long adventures of following the Cure. So that was cool. And we met Dom for the first time too. That was cool. I've been talking to Dom just through messages leading up to that show. So that was really awesome. And meeting him. So, and John was another dude that was in that crew that he had talked about his shows that he'd seen. It was kind of cool at the finale show, just hearing everybody's like what they did and which shows they went to, and how it was all leading to this grand epic finale. And I think that's why everybody was a little more festive mode even than normal. So so everyone, the DJ was sounding great. It was Frankie Teardrop, who was at the New York ones that we went to. So that was cool hearing Cure deep cuts and stuff being played out in public, right? So that was pretty cool. You guys had food. I was too wound up to actually eat, so I didn't eat anything. And was the food good?
The food was good.
What'd you have? Like some kind of salad?
I had a salad with Mom and a giant hot dog.
All right, it was a hot dog. Yeah, that looked good. So.
Yeah, the hot dog was good. It's just, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, the hot dog.
It was a hot
Big
dog.
sausage more? It
was more like a brat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So then we were like, we got to roll because we have to figure out parking and everything. And I was a little worried about this. And we did end up being late getting to the Casilla Center, I believe it's how you pronounce it there, the big arena that the show was at. We got parking. We were hurrying in. Tickets all went fine. So, all that worry of tickets, again, in the end, weren't really that big of a deal. So we got in the merch line. Dun, dun.
Oh, God.
So we've been hearing horror stories of the merch line. And when Chaz and Antonio were kind of like, I don't know what the big deal. It was a long line, but we had been getting there like maybe an hour before Twilight Sad would go on, and went straight to the merch lines, and we'd tough it out. And it wasn't too bad, but because we had kind of lingered a little long at the meetup, we were just a touch too late, and we got stuck in the worst version of the merch line, I think. So that sucked, because despite buying you that shirt up in New York, you're like, I kind of want some merch, and I'm not going to deprive you of as much merch as possible. So I wanted to get you those shirts, too. So you had your heart set on which two shirts?
The normal poster, the tour poster.
Yeah.
The one with his face with the flowers around it.
Yeah.
I like that one because it was classic.
Yep.
And I also liked the white one with the logo on it.
Yeah. So we're like, 2 shirts. We can do this.
Yeah.
We're waiting in line.
Oh, God.
And then we're waiting in line.
Waiting in line. We move one step every 40 minutes.
I think we could have lucked out with a better line, but I just kind of committed to the idea of just staying in the one line instead of trying to hop around. Didn't work out so good. So Twilight Sad started, and I was bummed because I wanted Casey, your mom, and you to see Twilight Sad, but we could hear them real good. And I kept saying, you guys just go to your seats. I'll get the shirts. I've seen them, 5 times at this point. So, so you hung in there though. You didn't want to leave me hanging. And then Twilight Sad wrapped up, and I'm still waiting in line. So we're like, okay, you guys go. And luckily you went in and got to hear the rain and stuff while I waited in line. And I guess just to end my portion of the merch line war, I got there. I had these younger kids in front of me too, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna take forever because they're just gonna be real indecisive or whatever, but the
Yeah.
kids actually turned out to be awesome. They're all like, how do you not know what you want at this point? And they're all like cursing. We saw a few people early up in the line that were like holding up the shirts.
Inspecting them.
Yeah, like, oh, is that what the design looks like? It's like, how do you not know?
It's
at this
hanging
point?
on the wall right
Just
in front of
look
you.
at it. And then, but the real problem, I wanted to blame all the people going real slow in front of me, but it was the damn people working there. We got stuck in this lady in the line, and I got up there and I was all like, all right, I need a small. They didn't have them numbered either. Like all the other shows I went to, you could go I could just say a small A, a small F, and then be like, cool, here you go. This one you had to describe them, like you just did for the tour poster. What was the cool one on the end with the flower? And they're like, oh, that's one. And you're like, no, the one over there.
The one below it. This one?
So I initially said, I want those two in small. And she's like, we don't have any small anymore. I was like, no smalls? And she's like, well, only the tour one. I was like, well, that's one of the ones I said. So already, that's 20 seconds that I'm going to be late, So I was just like, well, all right, that one. I was like, well, what about the white one? She's like, no, we don't have that in small. So I got you the tour shirt, which is the main cool one. And what we ordered later when I did the mega order of all the baseball cards and a few other shirts and stuff, we got you the white one on the way. But
we also have the cat one.
Yeah, that still hasn't arrived, but the Austin poster. But so yeah, it'll be just in time for Christmas. It'll be great. We'll rewrap them and give them to you as birthday presents.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys were seated. I finally got them. I heard the Cure even starting. I was like, no! I was ready to strangle that lady, So luckily
We made
got
it just in time.
in time. Like when Alone had started, I believe I got in there right before he started singing. So that was like, it's a real long intro. But let's take your perspective, because that's better. When you got in there to the seats, what'd you think of the initial arena and everything? Was it
gigantic? But I was also closer than I thought I'd be.
Yeah, you were happy with the view and everything? Cool.
Sounded great.
Yeah. What'd you think of the rain sounds before the band even came out?
It was kind of funny because I couldn't really hear the rain over all the people talking. They're like, whoa!
Like,
but
oh yeah, there's rain coming.
I kept hearing the thunder sounds. I'm like, are they out?
Yeah.
Or like the get ready people, and I keep thinking they're them.
Oh, the crew would come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So everyone would cheer for different members of the crew too.
Yeah.
And you're like, is that them? Is that them? And yeah, Kate asked me to record your initial reaction of seeing the band come out, but I was in the merch line, so I couldn't do that. But
Dang it, merch line.
merch line. Gotta get that merch though.
Yeah.
What was your reaction though? Did you feel anything special? Them walking out, seeing him in human form for the first time?
It was very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they just kind of come staggering out.
Yeah.
They start playing. Robert walks around, collects his gifts from the crowd.
I didn't see anyone like really give him anything.
Yeah, it was probably hard to see from us. It was usually flowers or shirts or stuff. So teddy bears and stuff.
Teddy bears.
So very cool. So yeah, and I guess the visual behind could you tell what it was right off the bat? Of the big planet spinning behind him.
Oh yeah.
It's zoomed in real close at first. So yeah. So Alone, that was your first time hearing the new song.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are a pro enough to have already heard that song a billion times.
Yep.
Totally.
Wonder why.
No help for me. But yeah, you've been hearing a lot of all the new songs, at least in some bootleg form. So that's good. You're familiar with it? Felt like an old classic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I don't know. Yeah. Good opener, or would you rather them start out with something else?
It was a good opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fitting for the tour, I think. Yeah.
I liked how they played most of the new songs in the beginning and then kind of ended it with all the cool hits.
Yeah, that is a good way to think of it, because they did have them a little more spaced out in the beginning of the tour, I felt like, but then by the end, it's kind of like every other song was a new song. But yeah, Alone into Pictures of You.
Picture of You, classic.
Yeah, right off the bat, it was very beautiful to see.
We standed up for that one.
Yeah, we were like, all right, we gotta get up. For
yeah.
And yeah, it was a city section. Everybody was sitting, and so we battled that back and forth a quite a bit. I don't think anybody was too hostile around us, but at the same time, decent section, but we're very chill in a sense. It seemed like the upfront crowd, everybody was getting appropriately wild and stuff. So we pick and chose our moments, but so yeah, Pictures of You sounded great. I did tear up a bit just because I'm an old sappy man, but it was more about the collective, Pictures of You moment. I've told Henson's story a million times on the podcast. First song you ever heard in your life?
Pictures of You.
Pictures of You.
Yep.
Little tiny baby. I put the little earbuds up next to him. I didn't cram them in your ears because I didn't want to make you deaf on the first day of life. Blow out your hearing. I put them next to you, turned it up loud, and you're like, yum, 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 yum. You loved it, I could tell. You were dancing and stuff.
Yeah, I was like singing along with it.
But yeah, so it sounded great, and went into Fragile Thing right after that.
Fragile Thing might be my favorite new song.
Yeah, that one definitely grew on me a lot over this tour, where it felt like it could be a single even, they could put that on the radio even. Make a video for it. Maybe. So, that was pretty cool. A Night Like This, they played after that.
Yeah.
Did you?
Every night is a night like this.
Yeah. Did you like that one?
Yeah, that song always gets stuck in my head, so I really like that one.
Cool. Yeah. And then into Love Song.
Love Song,
which also teared me up for the first time on this tour. I don't know why. I've heard that song a billion times, but I think it was just the collective love of being there with you and Mom. And
what do you mean? You were probably tearing up the whole time.
No, that. And for that one, for some reason, I just, some songs hit you weird when you're there in the moment, and that one kind of did it. So I don't know why. So I was trying not to turn into a blubbering idiot in front of you. But,
Dad.
I know, right? And then, what's wrong with you, Dad?
What's wrong with you, Dad?
Put your shit together. And Nothing Is Forever, another new one came up after that. And that was the one with the flashlights, and possibly the best flashlight I'd seen on the whole. What do you think of that whole experience?
It was cool.
Yeah? A little tricky, though?
A little hard to stare at them because every minute you'd be blinded by a light, but it was cool.
And we were trying to figure out, again, how to do it without, just blasting the person in front of you's head with a flashlight.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wait, is Nothing for, whatever that song's called, is that the one where everyone did the flashlight?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, where they're holding up the flashlights. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think they did the most I'd seen.
It looked like a whole bunch of fireflies.
Yeah, that was very cool. Then it went into Burn. We got Burn. It was a cool one.
Cool because of all the fire in the back.
Yeah, and Jason on drums. That was the one where they showed him real big on the drums there. So.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Rockin' song. Show It Sometimes. What did you think of that one?
That one's good.
Classic.
Yeah, classic.
Then we had Push and Play for Today, two that you hear around the house quite a bit. And those are cool ones to sing along to on the keyboard parts. We're all hooting and hawing. Yeah, so that was cool. The crowd was definitely into those. Went into Forest and Shake Dog Shake.
Forest was cool. I like how they did the picture of walking through the forest.
Yeah. So the visuals were looking pretty cool at this point. Were you happy with all of them?
Yeah.
There's trying to think if there's any other big ones on that. Shake Dog Shake's a good one for that with the silhouettes.
Yeah, they're all shaking.
Shaking behind them.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so hearing those songs, are all classic Cure songs too. So do you think they held up better, or to what you would expect? I mean, you've seen a bunch of live stuff.
His voice sounded way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah? Do you think it was going to be a little...
I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, but he definitely delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of Simon running around so much?
Yeah, that was cool. Rocking out.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. And then we got From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea.
Yeah, that one's nice.
Classic. And followed by a new one as well, End Song. That was the one with the big red moon.
Yeah.
That one cool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 14 songs in the main set. which had been trimmed down from the 15. So again, another sign that maybe there's some more to come that we're not expecting or something like that. So that was kind of cool. We had our first encore break, coming back with I Can Never Say Goodbye, the super sad one about his brother. And then we got our first big surprise of the evening. Following that,
Trust.
well, I'd been holding out for 1,000 hours. Didn't get it. Out of all 6 shows, didn't get 1,000 hours. But if I'm going to miss it out, Trust was a good one, don't you think? Very similar songs, too, that we were kind of comparing as we talked about it the week after. You kept confusing the two. Like, which one's Trust? Which one's, we just kind of sing the piano melody. But they are very similar. Trust is kind of like a better version of 1,000 hours. But I've just always loved 1,000 hours since being a little kid, and the fact that they never played it would have been awesome to hear it on this tour. So
you'll hear it again someday. Probably.
I don't know, man. I think that one might be gone. So oh well, there's enough recordings and stuff out there at least. Where I can watch the YouTube and enjoy it. But Trust sounded great. I love that it's a kind of more plucky piano part, but now that they got Roger doing it too, he made it into it flows, especially on the more solo part. He takes it up a notch and makes it really, really pretty sounding. Then we got the ultimate Disintegration triple block. We had Plain Song, Prayers for Rain, and the song Disintegration. Plain Song is pretty epic to see for the first time. What'd you think of that?
That was great. I like to sing Plain Song.
Yeah, bummer we don't have the chimes. Yeah. When they put it in the middle like that, it just kind of launches into it. Yeah. But you alright with that, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the chimes are really cool.
Yeah, you weren't like, take it back. I want something else. So, yeah, that was cool. And he, would go around from side to side of the stage there and sing to everybody in the camera and everything. So, very cool. Prayers for Rain had the cool wasteland backdrop kind of thing going on. And you'd learned that riff recently. So was that cool to hear it blasting through the whole arena?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. And then into Disintegration.
Classic.
Sounded great. He definitely got it all. No, I think he got all the words right on this one too. He had been having some issues with just getting into a little rambly-jambly on Disintegration. That might have been, I'm not quite sure where it all fell apart, but we did have a person behind us that had a little accident, remember?
Oh, God.
Should we call him out or not? I don't know. If you're listening to this, you probably know who you are. But I don't even know how it got confirmed with all the people around there. Somebody cut loose, had a few too many drinks probably, and was actually kind of pissed themselves or just on purpose. I'm not really sure. I only bring it up because it's been kind of a joke with me the whole time this tour, talking about how am I going to go to the bathroom? When am I going to go to the bathroom? Where am I going to go to the bathroom? Hadn't really thought you could just piss right there in the seat.
You aren't. You're not supposed to.
I didn't know you could do that. I would.
You're not. No.
Oh, you can't do that?
No, you can't.
Yeah, they escorted that person out. I don't know how they busted them though. Really, was the person next like, "Hey, guy, you're pissing on my leg." I don't know. I couldn't really see, but it was definitely a whole skirmish going on behind us. They escorted that person out.
Well, not right behind us, but like...
Yeah, like kind of diagonal, a few rows back.
Yeah.
So
not too close. So I don't even know if that really happens, but...
Yeah, it seems like a weird thing that someone could just say, but yeah, it was kind of like, we're like, what? Everybody okay over there? And someone's like, someone just pissed all over the floor. So sorry if you were that person, accidents happen, right? Mm-hmm. We've all been there. We've all pissed ourselves during a show before.
I haven't.
It's a tough one. You don't know what song to go to the bathroom through. Sometimes maybe she was just trying to hold it and then just like,
Can we stop talking about
this? Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. Well, we did hit a bathroom break because I known from previous experience that right after Disintegration ends, everyone's clapping. They're slowly leaving the stage. You could run to the bathroom real quick, get back just in time for the first notes of Lullaby.
Lullaby.
So now we've entered the pop encore, which I'm super excited for you to see this block. Because these are all your faves here. Not that you don't love the deep cuts and the dark jams. You definitely love all
I like the dark jams.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you really love this block.
Yeah.
And you were super excited for this. And, you know, as it getting into the wee hours, too, this kind of put a whole bolt of electricity back into the crowd. Everybody was up from this point on, of course, as it should be. And Lullaby with the big spider in the backdrop.
Yeah.
Cool visuals on that one, right?
Yeah, that was a cool one with the spider web.
Yeah. Real cool. And then our collective minds were blown, not only in general,
Oh, God.
but if anyone's been following any Henson side of these podcasts or slight comments I've been throwing out here or there, everybody would know one thing about you and The Cure. What is it?
I love Cats.
Yeah, ultimate number one favorite song.
Ultimate song.
Feeling kind of terrible since the start of the tour. You've been asking me, did they play Love Cats yet? Did they play Love Cats? What are the chances of Love Cats? And I was like, well, you never know though, right?
Yeah,
so there was always
know.
the slight chance. I said, if they're going to bust out something wacky like that, Miami's probably the place. But I was totally expecting like hot or something, you know. But if anything, you know, 6 different ways would have been rad. But as soon as I heard the screeching and the scratching, and he said something we don't normally do, it's probably going to be a disaster or something along those lines. He was like, let's see what happens.
It was great. You played it great.
And they sounded awesome. Yeah.
They sounded
flawless.
awesome.
Maybe, so I don't know where the hell that came from. Maybe he's a big fan of Henson on the podcast.
If you're listening to this, Robert,
what are you going to say?
shout out
Yeah,
to
shout
you.
out. Thanks, man.
Shout out.
Made this
Thanks,
boy's cut. No problem. And, so, yeah, that was awesome. And on so many levels, of course, just because it's your favorite. And it made my heart explode with joy that you got your favorite song. But also, the last show, we got a tour debut, taking it to 56, I believe, songs that they played on the whole tour.
Woo.
We'll recap all this in a recap episode coming up when I really dig up all the stats and stuff. But I believe it was the 56th song that they had played on this tour, which is pretty amazing.
That
you
is
could
pretty
learn
amazing.
56 songs and play
That's
them
hard to do.
flawless. Yeah, it's a lot of songs, and these aren't the easiest ones. So yeah, it sounded great. You know, Simon just kind of locked down, played the bass.
I mean, it is hard.
Yeah, he was like not bopping around as much to that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody seemed to enjoy it. Robert probably the most. Looking at the video clips there, he was definitely into it. And yeah, so very cool. And then we went into the kind of standard blast through of the hits. We had the walk.
Yeah.
So that one's been sounding good all tour. And then your other ones. Then we got into like the mega block of all your songs that you've done from talent shows, pretty much. We got Friday I'm in Love.
Great song.
Which I had been kind of holding off on showing you any of the videos of the backdrop because I thought that was extra
the background was really cool with like the spinning eye thing in the hearts.
Yeah, just a lot of fun bouncing around images. And, well, exploding hearts and high birds and all those things.
Yeah.
So very cool. That one always is fun in the crowd. And went straight into your other talent show song, Close to Me.
Close to Me.
That one hold up? Sound good?
Yeah, that sounded great.
Yeah. Bass line thumping in that big old arena. Kept the fun going with Why Can't I Be You?
Why can't I be you?
Yeah. As I've said before, not my most favorite song by The Cure, but when they start playing it at a live show, somehow it becomes your favorite song ever. It's just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a good party song.
Yeah.
I like Why Can't I Be You?
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I officially changed my stance on that song.
Yeah.
It's a good tune. So, then we got the mega block there, In Between Days, just like heaven.
Yeah.
Boys Don't Cry.
Woo!
Whew, where do we start? Just sounded good? All
Yeah,
of
it
it?
sounded great.
Cool visuals.
Boys Don't Cry was really good in the end.
Yeah. And he acted like he was going to switch his guitar because it had been kind of the clue that they're going to play more when he plays the electric for Boys Don't Cry, but he stuck with the acoustic for this one. So yeah, those were sounding cool, just like Heaven.
Yeah.
Sounded amazing.
Just like Heaven's amazing.
And of course, he pretty much said this is not the last song. I think right before Boys Don't Cry, even. So we're like, sweet.
No, he did say it's the last song, and then at the end of it, he said, "We still have more minutes, so we'll play a couple more."
Yeah, 6 more, right?
6
Even
more
though
minutes.
I don't know how it would fit 6 exactly, but he said I think he would go 6 more minutes or something. So they worked it out perfectly. So punctual when it comes to the set list, this Robert Smith.
Yeah.
And we got the bonus tracks of 10:15
And
Saturday night, which it
Killing
was
an
a
Arab,
Saturday.
right?
Yep,
They
and
played
Killing an
Killing an
Arab. Yeah. So back-to-back golden oldies.
Yeah, Killing an Arab was just rock and roll in the end.
Yeah, they tore it up, didn't they?
Near, 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 near.
Yeah. Simon threw his bass down, walked off.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Didn't smash it though. So
Didn't smash it, good.
Just kind of dropped
Dented it.
in a very rock and roll way. And 10:15 was great too. I'd forgotten
Yeah,
that it was a Saturday
10:15.
night, so very fitting too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it was on Saturday?
it was Saturday night.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
And-
didn't even think what day it was. I was just
I
ready.
think it was past 10:15 at that point. But
Oh my god, imagine
it
they
was
played
right
it
on the dot.
exactly.
And then it all ended. Oh, yeah, geez, how blown was your mind? Or was it,
It was pretty blown.
yeah.
When I walked out, it sounded like I had earmuffs on or something like that because it was like all quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah, you hadn't really been blasted in a big arena like that. You had seen,
Spoon and Interpool.
yeah, in an outdoor kind of arena.
Yeah.
Not arena, even just an outdoor venue.
Yeah.
So that was your first major show that you've seen. You've seen kind of like acoustic people at breweries a billion times. Me and our friend Ryan's band and stuff like that. But yeah, this is definitely first big Cure show, first big arena show. So yeah, pretty cool. It's gonna be a hard one to top. Hopefully we'll get more chances to see them though. You know, it's something people have been talking a lot about. Is this the finale, or obviously they're playing a festival in Chicago in September, then headed to South America, so it won't be the last of any Cure shows by any means. But
We gotta go to Mexico.
Yeah, so just hard to say if we're gonna have to do something like that if we see them again. Will they do another mega U.S. tour like this? Probably not for a while though. Even if they wanted to, they don't seem to do anything too fast back to back like that. So they deserve some time to rest up. That was a big epic tour. So I'm glad that the whole thing came together and we worked it out where you saw the last one and we all saw it together. You're a very patient boy though, sitting through the whole tour and hearing all the stories leading up to it and not, spazzing out that you're missing the tour. So thank you for your patience.
That was hard.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, that was a tough one because it was closest to
Then we'd
us.
have to come right back and then go.
Yeah, so it was a little tough. But maybe next time, if there is a next time, you'll be a little older, we could get a little more adventurous too and see them a couple times. Because it is kind of the catch of like why you see them a bunch of times. You could see now because they change up the songs here or there, and not all of them, not drastically, but just enough to keep every nerd like us like going, oh man. I want to see one more. So, what else can we say as we wrap up? Was there any song that you weren't totally crazy about that you were like convinced that was great? That's one question I've been asking everybody because like the way I was with Why Can't I Be You or something, like where it's like one that you're not crazy about, but then when you saw it live, you're like, whoa.
Maybe a bit Burn.
Yeah, the Crow song. So you weren't totally in love with that until seeing it live?
Yeah, seeing it live was just like badass.
Yeah, that's definitely been a huge favorite for a lot of people. So, yeah, just seeing how it showcases everybody and the drums and the bass and Robert's vocals and the guitar parts are all super rad. So makes sense. Cool, man. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. We got other stuff we got to cover. But thanks for being such a awesome kid and enjoying that and letting us share this experience together. And so yeah, and I guess to everybody else out there, thanks for being awesome and your comments of being excited for Henson hearing Love Cats at his first Cure show.
Oh
And
man, I can't believe they played that.
still super cool, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
super
so weird.
amazing.
I was like, no way in hell they're gonna play Love Cats. There they are, playing Love Cats. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you out there again. Like I said, thanks for all the sweet comments and support and making this whole tour has been amazing. We're gonna have a tour wrap-up episode with Antonio and Chaz hopefully soon, and I hope our coverage here was thorough throughout the tour. It's gonna be documented now, so anytime you get lonely and want the Cure to retour again, you could just start back at the beginning and re-listen to every episode.
Yeah.
So any of you super youngsters out there that are coming to the game 5 years from now, you could re-listen to these and hopefully can tell from the excitement in our voice that this was something special that we all got to be a part of. So
Yeah.
sound good?
Uh-huh.
All right, man. Well, thank you for being a wonderful guest. High five. Talk hard.
Bye.